Hey guys, how's it going? Now, when we talk about productivity laptops, a lot of brands just claim to offer productivity oriented laptops, but mostly they're just using it as an excuse to skimp up on features. However, on comes Xiaomi with the latest Mi Notebook Ultra, a proper productivity focused laptop. A display with the right aspect ratio for productivity, a design that's portable but also well built, and a great battery backup. But are all those things good enough to make the Mi Notebook Ultra a better option than the rest of the laptops in the market? Let's find out. This is Varun from GTR and you're watching my in-depth review of the Mi Notebook Ultra. Let's get started. Okay, so let's kick things off by talking about the design here. Now, it's easy to draw comparisons with the Apple MacBook offering, but that's clearly where the inspiration comes from. However, there are positives to it. The design is super minimal and yet has an all-metal design built out of Series 6 aluminum and offers almost zero flex. The laptop passes the one-handed opening test and at 1.8 kgs is quite portable for a laptop of its size. In terms of I/O, on the left side you get a USB Type-C port, a full-size HDMI port, a USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-A port, and a USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 port. Over to the right side, you get an old-fashioned USB 2.0 port and a 3.5mm headphone jack. Now, I personally would have preferred having a SD card reader here for certain reasons that I'll talk about in a bit, but the fact that it comes with a proper Thunderbolt 4 is more than enough for me. It just opens the door to a plethora of accessories, comes with support for display out as well, and yeah, you can even plug an eGPU to this thing and use it for your gaming needs because the processor is definitely capable. Moving on to the display, and what we have here is a segment first with a Mi Notebook Ultra packing in a gorgeous 15.6-inch display with a 3.2K resolution and a 90Hz refresh rate. This is a matte finish display and the 300 nits of brightness means that using it outdoors isn't going to be a major issue. Of course, there will be folks who will say that you don't really need that high of a resolution on a display of this size, and to be honest, I am one of those folks, but you still cannot deny the fact that everything, and I mean everything, on this display looks super crisp. The 100% sRGB coverage is amazing and content consumption on this is great too. Of course, while watching movies, you will get a black bar here. But let's be realistic, this is a productivity laptop and that's simply because of the ratio, and personally, I do not have an issue with that. Now, like I said, this laptop has a 90Hz refresh rate, which you can easily toggle to 60Hz by pressing Function plus S. While that's convenient for sure, my point here is that do you really need 90Hz on a laptop of this kind? I mean, let's be realistic here. Sure, it looks smooth and everything, but Windows in itself does not have any smooth animations. And this is not a gaming laptop. So a higher refresh rate isn't going to aid there anyway. The way I see it, it's an added feature onto a proper feature set. I mean, the highlight is definitely the higher resolution and 100% sRGB. The 90Hz refresh rate is just the cherry on the top. It's not going to basically be a deciding factor, but nonetheless, it's going to make your experience a bit better. And at the same time, it just makes everything easier for your eyes. You know, having to switch from 90 120 Hz refresh rate displays on your phone and then coming back to a 60 Hz panel on your laptop can be a bit tough for your eyes, so having a high refresh rate panel also helps there. Now, crammed inside those tiny bezels is the webcam, and that's a welcome change. I, for one, did not like the fact that the previous Mi laptop did not come with an integrated webcam. This one comes with it. The webcam here is integrated and honestly it's a great camera. I mean, seriously, it's a great camera. Now, I've personally felt that smartphone manufacturers can obviously do a bit better, especially in terms of cameras when you compare it with hardcore PC manufacturers, and Xiaomi has definitely delivered on that front this time. Now, moving along, let's talk about the keyboard, and honestly speaking, it's been a great experience overall. Now, I'll admit there were two things that I did not like initially. But apart from that, everything has been great. And those two things, I'll talk about that. But yeah, I mean, those are not major issues. The 1.5mm key travel here feels good to type on. There's a nice tactile feedback to this. And there's some good backlighting here as well. Yes, the Mi Notebook Ultra does come with backlighting, which is another essential feature. And I'm glad that they haven't skimmed on this like they did with the Horizon laptop. There's also a dedicated macro key here in the top right corner. You can basically just assign an app to this and then quickly launch it via the key right here, which is pretty convenient. Now, speaking of things that I did not like at first. First off, I feel that the keyboard here is a little bit pushed out to the top. So while typing on this on a desk is a fantastic experience, If you're one of those who's working on home and are usually, casually laying back on your sofa set or something like that, basically it will take time to adjust to the generous spacing of the keys. Secondly, the right shift key is pretty crammed in here. But then again, it was either this or going for a divided up and down arrow. Below the keyboard, we have a spacious touchpad. It's a very wide touchpad and one of the most premium force touchpads that I've used in a while now. The gestures work splendidly on this and the palm rejection is good too. The surface here is also quite smooth and in my testing, it hasn't attracted any fingerprints or smudges. Alright, so let's talk about the performance here. So on paper, the Mi Notebook Ultra does come with some pretty good specs. Does it translate to great real-world performance? Pretty sure, yeah. Now I faced absolutely zero issues while using the Mi Notebook Ultra as my daily driver, which includes working in multiple Chrome tabs, editing images in Photoshop, and even playing some Valorant on the sides. That last part is important because this is by no means a gaming laptop. I've said that previously and I'll reiterate, this is by no means a gaming laptop. That being said, the Intel Z graphics is a pretty decent GPU, onboard GPU. So apart from Photoshop, you can play some lightweight esports titles like Valorant and Rocket League. So yeah, just on the side, don't think of it as your primary gaming machine. Obviously, keeping everything in check is the thermal department here. Getting inside is easy, just unscrew everything and then you're greeted by a single fan with 2 heat pipes to cool the CPU and the onboard graphics as well. In terms of upgradability, there's only the PCIe SSD that you can upgrade, though the onboard SSD in itself is pretty decent here. The Mi Notebook Ultra comes with Windows 10 Home single language along with a licensed copy of MS Office Home and Student 2019. There's also the Mi Drop app here that's basically used to share files from your Xiaomi device to the laptop. Okay, so far everything has been great about the Mi Notebook Ultra. But then again, there is nothing as a perfect laptop, right? Well, that's where the audio department comes in. I'm sorry, but there is no subtle way to put this. The speakers on this are absolutely disappointing. Now, in all honesty, if you're working from home, yes, you can attend a normal call on this, but that's about it. You definitely cannot use it for entertainment needs at all, which kind of makes sense because Xiaomi is offering Mi smart Wi-Fi speaker with this for just 2,000 rupees. That usually retails for 4,000. So that kind of becomes a necessity, to be very honest with you. Either get that or spend 2,000 extra on a good pair of headphones. Speakers on this are not good at all. Lastly, there's the battery life. Now, the Mi Notebook Ultra comes with a massive 70 Wh battery, which coupled with the i5 processor and 90Hz refresh rate, easily manages to deliver about 10 hours of battery backup. If you opt for the i7 variant, you can see that number drop to somewhere in the late 8-hour range. But honestly, the i5 variant should be more than enough for most folks. As far as charging is concerned, Xiaomi has bundled a 65 watt charger here, and the laptop can go from 0 to 50% in just 45 minutes. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to stress upon is that 67 watt sonic charger that everyone has been talking about. So a lot of folks who have reviewed the Mi Notebook Pro or the Pro Ultra have said that you can use that 67 watt charger to basically charge this laptop up. I would not recommend doing that, at least for now. If you use it, your mileage may vary, but basically it could either be charging at a slower rate, maybe 27 watts or 33 watts, or it might not charge the laptop at all, or you might face some other issue, something that is not ideal. Now, to clarify that, I did reach out to the Xiaomi team, which also explains the change inside because it took a lot of time for the company to get back to me with an official response. Now, their reply is that the company is still testing the 67 watt charger with their laptops, and that testing is happening internally but on a global level. In short, what they're saying is that at this point of time, they would not recommend users to buy the 67 watt charger to use it to charge the Mi Notebook. It's still a great charger, but it hasn't been certified to work with the Mi Notebook Ultra. If something goes wrong, you cannot really blame Xiaomi for that because they haven't advertised it. It kind of makes sense, right? Xiaomi already has a 67 watt charger. If it could actually work with the laptop, they would have blatantly advertised it at the launch. they did not, because they're still testing it. And obviously they will come out with an official statement whether it works or not once they have concluded their testing. But for now, if you buy that charger, use it with your Mi notebook and something goes wrong, Xiaomi will not be held responsible for that. Instead, I can totally understand you finding the Mi charger that's bundled with the laptop a little too bulky and old-fashioned. So if you want something more compact, you can go for small USB PD chargers from the likes of AMX India or even Stuffcool that offer these small chargers that support USB PD. So you can still use them to easily juice up your Mi Notebook Ultra without having any issues. So what's the verdict here? Well, the Mi Notebook Ultra starts at a price tag of Rs 60,000, but realistically speaking, in my all honest opinion, you should definitely go for the 16GB plus 512GB variant of i5, which is priced at 64,000. Honestly, at that price point, the Mi Notebook Ultra gets a lot right. Yes, the speakers are definitely a con, but apart from that, everything else on this laptop is great, and the display just elevates the whole experience. Personally, I think that this is a great machine. Xiaomi has definitely hit a home run, not just in terms of specifications, but also in terms of pricing. The only challenge that the company now faces is just convincing users to actually go out and buy their laptops. I mean, it's one thing to convince customers to buy your products under the 20,000 smartphone category, and it's another thing convincing users to just buy your laptop when you're spending more than 50,000. Because that brand value factor definitely kicks in. Now, trust me, I'm not saying that Xiaomi is a bad brand, and honestly, if I was in the market, I would definitely pick the Mi Notebook Ultra over the offerings from Dell, HP and other brands. That being said, for a general consumer, they still have that stigma in their head. So Xiaomi really needs to work on that to, make people understand that yes, Xiaomi has not only just entered the market, they have literally kicked the competition apart with this offering because it's that good. Now, regardless of whatever you make of the marketing and whatever they do with that, two things are for sure. The Mi Notebook Ultra is a great laptop, and if anything, it's just going to push the competition to make better laptops and bring on the A game, which is obviously going to be great for every consumer out there. And well, that was it. If you found this video helpful, make sure to let us know by giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel for more awesome tech content. Till then, this is Varun from GTR, and I'll see you in the next one.